off with a little fade in.
Yeah, this is the first episode. We just gonna wing it, and I didn't already hit record. We just gonna wing it, man.
Okay.
This is headlines, y'all. Welcome to the first episode of the
Woo-woo.
Headlines podcast, man. All right, I'm ya boy Apollo, but I ain't rolling solo. I got my man.
The one and
I love
only.
Fox Boys in the building. We back together, man. We
Yes,
got the
sir.
crew. The
Finally getting content again.
I know the other two were scared today, so
They'll
Matt and
show up
Miss,
eventually.
they'll show up eventually. So Matt and Miss, if you hear this, y'all are missing out. Okay,
The
y'all are
best
missing
part
out.
about having a group is at least one of them's gonna show up.
One of them gonna show up. Hey, Foxy was ready as soon as I sent the message out. He's like, I'm there. I was
Yep.
like,
Yeah, I was
I'm.
off today. I was like, let's go.
I
Let's
was
get
at
it done.
the. Yay, that's what's up. I was at the nail salon getting my feet done, my nails done. Got a
Got the
petty
truth
and a
though.
manny. Yeah, truth. I got a petty and a manny. Got to take care of it. We're not gonna waste too much of y'all's time. We want to get in here and talk some football. We got a lot
Yes,
to talk
sir.
about today. Oh my God, football season is back, everybody. Just real quick, like I said, for people who are still confused and wondering, there will be no Madden 24 content on the channel. I am wore out on Madden.
Finally.
Fuck.
Finally. Get it
All
out of
right,
here.
get out of here. There's no Madden right now. Okay, we have graduated past Madden. Okay,
Bro,
I can't do
Madden
it.
dream, bro. It's taxing, man.
It is so
Again,
taxing. Madden sent me on a whole summer break like I was in school. That's what Madden did. I ain't having that shit no more. So if I can only get a little bit at a little bit with football content, damn it, that's how it's gonna be. But it's finna be straight football right now. But uh, I just it's good to be back on the mic with my man Foxy.
it's good to hear you.
It's good to hear you too, man. It's good to see you. Y'all can't see us, but we see each other. Uh, I'm just making it easier for when I upload, at least right now, because the Wi-Fi has been real spotty. I don't know, and it's about to storm out here in Texas, so
Damn.
I gotta make it as easy as I can to get this uploaded. It's a Tuesday night, but y'all get this on a Wednesday, something afternoon, evening, some point in
Whatever
time.
it
But
gets edited.
whenever it gets edited, it's getting edited tonight. But when it gets uploaded, it's ready. All right. We got a lot to talk about, but I want to start with the biggest story in football, professional or college is right now. No ifs, ands, or but about it. Colorado football, Deion Primetime Sanders. This man has got the Colorado football team to 3-0. When they won one
Three
game,
and no, that is
3-0. 3-0 and ranked, and they only won one game last year in total. This
you
man,
know
it
what
speaks volumes.
about
Go
them
ahead.
being ranked over some other teams. Like I've seen them at like 18, and I think a team like Alabama actually dropped below them. So how do you feel about that?
Uh, I don't feel no type of way. I feel like with all the hype and what we're seeing,
Mhm.
Colorado's deserve their ranking. I mean, where they're ranked 19th now. Let's check the top 25. If I'm not
I think they were
mistaken.
18th
Okay,
for
let's
their
see.
game. They were 18th or 19th.
Yeah, for
Well,
the
while we're
game.
doing some thoughts, it brings up a very awkward conversation because Colorado definitely earned that 18th spot. But if you look
Yes,
at the other teams behind them, you probably will have a very good argument that they're ranked higher than some teams better than them. For
that's true.
example, as good and as impressive as Colorado looks, it's really hard to say that they would beat a team like Alabama or whatnot, even with the quarterback woes that they've had.
They're not
And I
beating Alabama.
always bring up crazy arguments like TCU last year. They earned it. They definitely did, especially after the Michigan game. But
Absolutely.
you can make a very good case that there were better teams than them, even though they were ranked second or third or fourth. They were something. They were up there.
You know what also helps Colorado's case? And I'm looking at the top 25. In the
Yeah,
top 25, eight from the Pac 12 are in the top 25.
I
Eight
think that's
teams.
the most in a while. That might be the most ever.
The Pac 12 is low key looking real strong this year. Because usually the top
What are the
25 is
teams?
what? Big Ten and SEC dominant? No.
pretty much.
The top 25, we got USC's at 5, Washington is 8, Oregon's 10, Utah's 11, Oregon State's 14. We got Colorado at 19, Washington State at 21, and then UCLA at 22. And you know what? They're all undefeated. Every last one of them.
Wow. That guy Washington's looking pretty good. I might have to watch a couple of them games. I'm trying to see.
Yes. But something's got to give this Saturday with Colorado playing Oregon. Something's got to give. Somebody got to win. There's no ties in college football.
That's going to be a tough game. That's going to be real tough. But in theory, it shouldn't be that much harder than the Nebraska game, because you kind of look at a team like Colorado and TCU from a casual perspective, and you assume they're not a big Power 5 conference school, so they beat up on the little boys. But Nebraska, of course they haven't been in the college football playoffs, but that's a legit school. People recognize Nebraska as a quality opponent, and they went in there and put hands to cheeks. So I'm in a weird spot with the Oregon game, because they're part of me is thinking there's no way they're beating fucking Oregon. But then again, we all thought the same thing about TCU, Nebraska, and then at a certain point during that Colorado game.
Yes, that's true. Here's why I give them a chance to beat Oregon. Oregon, the one, they can match them skill for skill, at skill position. Player for player, Colorado can match Oregon. It's the interior line. Oregon is not one of those schools like Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State that's known for having big, dominant, beefy boys. This is why I give Colorado a chance. If they were playing like Ohio State, no shot. I give Colorado no shot. I feel like Colorado could score, but they still going to get waxed 50-something to 30 or something, just because eventually those big boys will take over. So they got a chance to beat Oregon. I don't think they fear Oregon.
That was my worry about Oregon. I guess that's what everybody's worry was about them facing the bigger schools. Is you see this a lot of times when SEC opponents or big schools like Oregon and them face those FCS schools in the first couple of weeks, and the games are a little closer than you expect. At a certain point, they just go, we got 5-star athletes. We just going to run the air out the ball and bully you for the rest of the game since we can't dunk on you. And that's what I'm thinking. Even if they're going toe-to-toe with Oregon, they might just say, fuck it, the Mutt analogy, to where I got a 99 overall team, you got 80s, I'm just running inside zone the rest of the game type of thing. Brought up a good point that they're not really known for that, and we haven't seen Oregon kind of pull off that scheme in a while, if ever.
Speaking of Madden or Ultimate Team, does it not seem like Colorado State found the meta play? They kept running drags the whole game, and they would not. I'm like, why are y'all letting them run these damn drag routes in mesh? Who is controlling this team? This is a Madden play caller all day, man.
Facts. Because Deion Sanders was honest about that. He was like, yeah, we know. It's we kept saying, stop letting them run the damn crossers. You would see that if they're running them that close to the line of scrimmage. They would have just. You ever see that if they're in a certain within a certain distance of the line of scrimmage, they can be hit. So you'll see in compilations of somebody running a drag, they don't get the ball thrown to them, but they just catch a linebacker to the side of the face, just out of nowhere, and get decleated. I thought we were going to see that.
I was waiting for it, but they kept catching them, and they were running extra 7-8 yards, and it was all. I'm just I don't know, why y'all not sitting on it? They're not going deep. They're just throwing these little short crosses. Man. But here's a question I want to ask you, Foxy. And Coach Prime has a lot of haters. And a lot of people are waiting for him to fail. And I was glad he pulled this out, because if they would have lost this game, all the haters would have came out. Oh, they would have came out the woodwork. Oh, you see? The way Coach Prime is doing it, how he turned it around. And he's letting the rappers and the celebrities, for goodness sake, this dude had The Rock, the biggest celebrity in the world, on his sideline.
with Reggie Bush and them. I heard they used to always have celebrity appearances on the sideline. You
Yeah,
can see Reggie
yeah,
Bush and the quarterback
yeah,
liner.
just like. But see, that's USC. That's in Los Angeles. That makes sense.
That's
This is
yeah,
Boulder.
South
This is
California.
Boulder, Colorado. Who the hell is in Boulder, Colorado? No disrespect to anybody that's in Colorado, Boulder. I'm just saying, this dude had Key Glock, Offset, Lil Wayne, The Rock. He gets
I thought
pro
also,
athletes, all these
Gronk was
people.
there too.
I mean, yeah, it's like a party on the sidelines, in the stands. Could you imagine a frat parties right now, Colorado? But my thing is, do you have an issue with how Coach Prime is doing this, or are you okay with how he's like bringing that swagger, and you just want the haters to eat crow with how he's doing this?
My thing is like we love it. We love it. We love every bit of it. But the
Yeah,
part that gets like really anxious is like when you see a lot of people don't like it, and you have to root for them, and they're waiting for any kind of nitpick. You know what I mean? Like he could lose a game by a touchdown or whatever, and the nation is just gonna harp on him. You wouldn't have lost that game if you didn't have Travis Hunter shooting vlogs on the sideline. You wouldn't have lost that game if you weren't wearing shades on the side. Like, like when they lose,
yeah,
it's going to be one of those things to where they're not even talking about the game anymore. It kind of
yep,
feels like they're politicking. And
yep,
that's what really hurts me about this kind of stuff, because I get real into the game. So like, please, Dion, don't lose. Don't lose. And it's like, so, he has to lose eventually. He's not going to go undefeated. I mean, you never count Dion out, but a loss, it's tough to win football games. And especially with this kind of start, it's hard to, we kind of lose that, because like, damn, he really came in here 3-0 with a 1-11 team and all these new recruits. But I love it. It's just with a guy like this who's so much of an extrovert, and he talks his trash and he tells his players to talk trash.
uh huh,
The media really comes after people like that. We've seen it with a bunch of athletes. We've seen it with people like, well, I'm not going to make a list, but number one, like Baker Mayfield, when he had the flag waving, planting it, and grabbing his nuts, right? And everybody was hating
yep,
on him. But like, they disrespected him first. They didn't shake his hand at the beginning of the game. Coaches, players talking crap, but we know them players. They talk a lot of shit through each other. And it's like they're going to get on Baker Mayfield and hate on him. And to this day, people just dislike Baker Mayfield for being the person he is. But I
yeah.
actually really like Swagger at the quarterback position, having somebody besides a defensive back talk a little trash. You know what I mean? So I love it. It just sucks when something happens and they lose a game, or some miscellaneous thing happens and you have to hear for weeks somebody harping on something that's not that big of a deal.
That's true. I have no problem with what he's doing actually, and I actually like it. And with how it is these days, especially when it comes to recruiting, that's going to bring in a whole lot of recruits. With
Yeah,
how,
having a be yourself.
yes, and not only that, you don't just have anybody just coaching. It's not just Nick Saban or Kirby Smart, some good coach or Dabble Sweeney. No, this is Deion Mother effing Sanders, easily the greatest at his position. One of the top two, top three, arguably top defensive player to ever lace cleats in the game of American football. And he had
Yep.
swagger when he played. If that does not say something, I don't know what does.
Well,
It's
that's a guy
amazing.
there. I think he's doing great over there,
He's
and I like
he's
it.
yeah, he's doing great things. I'm rooting for Coach Prime. And one last thing, when I looked at their schedule, and I did this in my video when I talked about I said if they could get to this Oregon and USC stretch undefeated and come out of here with at least a win in one of the games, because if they lose with this week or next week, one of them or both weeks, it's understandable.
Yeah,
Oregon, USC, especially USC, they're good
yeah,
schools,
these
but
are tough teams.
yes, but
USC.
I still see them as a 10-win team. I see Colorado
Yeah,
as a 10-win team getting to a bowl game and playing well. I just don't see how they don't get at least 9, 10 wins. And of course, when they lose, to USC or Oregon, the haters are going to come out. But I mean, it's USC and
Yeah.
Oregon. Outside of that, I don't see them losing to anybody. And I even went as far as to say it's very possible they may sneak. Very possible, because the SEC and Big Ten, they got to play and beat each other all throughout the year.
They're eating each other up. They're cannibalizing themselves.
Yeah, if Colorado gets sneaky and they edge out Oregon and USC and they pull it off and run the table and they sneak into the college football playoffs, I mean, how can you hate on Coach Prime? He took a 1-11 team and then took them to the college football playoffs the following year. Even if they lose.
There's a lot of people that'll offer pushback for that take, and logically so. But to be fair, we have seen it the last 2 or 3 years to where the Power 5 schools eat each other up and somebody sneaks in. We saw it with Cincinnati, who actually played a decent game against Alabama, at least for a half. And then we saw it with TCU get in the run. So it's really, I mean, nobody wanted to bet on Cincinnati and TCU. I mean, I wouldn't have either. But if we're saying if there's going to be a third team to just dark horse their way into the playoffs, I mean, there's no better bet than Deion Sanders and Shiloh Sanders from the way he's playing that quarterback. Or it's Shador. Shador's the
Shador,
quarterback.
Yeah, and Shiloh's the safety. Yeah, he's the safety.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Real quick about Shador, do you think he is showing that he's able to be a top draft pick? If you are a NFL scout, are you looking at Shador and saying possibly maybe this guy's worth taking early, maybe even overall? Like, what if he outperforms Caleb Williams and they go gun for gun, he outperforms him? Would you take Shador as a top 3 pick?
Top 3 right now with the way he's looking? I think so. And it really, I think if you're thinking about taking Shador early, you're really looking at the Oregon and USC games. Even though those teams aren't really known for having the craziest defenses in the world, these are like the big games of the season, which I haven't looked at the schedule. There might be tougher defenses down the road, but these are like the big games. And you're like, if he can do what at least like 60-70% of what he did the last 3 games against these guys, I think he has a run at being a top 2-3 quarterback in whichever draft class he goes. Because I was watching the Colorado game, and I only saw like the first 3.5 quarters, which wasn't even the best part of the game for him. And I'm watching the game, and I'm like, dang, this man has great pocket presence. The pocket presence gets out immediately. But also the throws. He's making every throw. But then I'm like, okay, since we're thinking first-round draft pick, we got to get real nitpicky with these throws, okay? Just about any quarterback, they're not going to have the pocket presence that Shiloh has in the reading. But you can get a quarterback that can read defense. You can get a quarterback with good pocket presence. And if you're in college, if you're playing college football, especially Division I, either high tier or low tier Division I, you can throw a fucking football. So we saw him throwing the ball, and I'm like, he's hitting these open receivers. Good. He's doing all the easy stuff. But I'm like, let me see all this stuff, all the film YouTubers talk about, when they pull up the graphics on NFL Network, they're like, look at this window, and they zoom in and stuff. I was like, I want to see those. And he hit those too. So there is no way in hell I could say he is not going to be a top 3 quarterback when it comes to any draft class if he's able to keep this up. And just like every quarterback, there's probably going to be a stinker in there, but that's fine. I think he has the talent. I think they're going to look at him and think, we don't want to do with him what we did with Lamar Jackson. Because after the resurgence of Lamar Jackson, we've noticed that these teams have not only been taking shots at these athletic quarterbacks, but they've been far more lenient with them. They're not as brutal in the draft process with these mobile quarterbacks as they were with Lamar Jackson and, quarterbacks the previous. Like, we saw a lot of athletic quarterbacks not even get a chance. Like, top of my head, Braxton Miller, I think he was a quarterback.
Braxton Miller, for Ohio State, and they made him shift to receiver. Yep. Know exactly what you're talking about.
Some people are going to say he got injured. He hurt his shoulder or something. And then there was Tyree Jackson. He was a big quarterback for Buffalo. I think he was 6'7", 200
Mm-hmm.
something pounds, and he didn't even. I don't think he played a snap at quarterback in the NFL. They moved him to tight end. So they're giving these quarterbacks shots, and they're throwing darts at him. And I think he's one hell of a target to throw a dart at.
My thing is, even with Shador, I don't even. I mean, I'm not saying he's not athletic, but he's not on Lamar level. But when you watch him play, he doesn't even look to run unless he absolutely has to. That is his last
Mm-hmm.
resort. He is looking to extend the play and get the ball down the field in the pocket. He is looking to kill you
Yeah,
from the pocket. I
remember.
respect that about him. This is going to be wild, man. It's going to be wild. It's going to be amazing. But we're going to move on to the next topic. It's time to get to the big leagues, big
Yes,
NFL. We're going to
sir.
talk NFL surprises. We're 2 weeks in, and from your viewpoint and your opinion, my man, what has been the biggest surprise, or what has been a surprise? Are you like, man, I didn't see that coming so far in this young 2023 NFL season?
So I can think three off the top of my head. So number one is the Giants looking so bad. That one really stood out to a lot of people. And it's like we didn't expect them to come out and be like world beaters, but your
Mm-hmm.
quarterback gets paid and they come out and get demolished by your Dallas Cowboys. And
Yeah.
then except for like the last you know quarter and a quarter of the last game, they were down 20-21 to nothing against presumably the worst team in the league, starting a backup quarterback that looked awful in his playoff game when Purdy got hurt. Shout out to Josh Dobbs though. So them look terrible is absolute, like, it shocked me. And the thing is, one thing is Daniel Jones is getting a lot of shit. Of course, he saved himself in that game against Arizona, but he got a lot of shit week one, and I felt real bad because like I don't think he's as bad as people think he is, and I don't think he's as good as some people think it is. Of course, they're gonna hype him up because like it's their quarterback, and they're gonna defend him because the world is shitting on him. But I want you to find me a quarterback that is going to look good, not only against the Cowboys defense, but getting pressured on 65% of his snaps. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can win a game like that. Of course, you expect them to at least put up some points, but it was just a snake bitten night from the start. And I want to go deeper into detail about that, but I don't want to take up too much time. But also, that should just be the
No,
nail.
go
Like,
in.
as soon as we hear
Go. No, this is a
65
podcast. This is a podcast, sir. You go in detail. You have the floor, my man.
65% of your snaps. That's damn near 3/4 of your snaps. That is crazy. And yeah, it was just terrible. Number two is actually we'll go with the Chargers being the 0.
That was on my
Now
list too.
seeing it, it's 2018. It's just like you watch a Chargers game, it looks good. It's entertaining. It is so great for viewers. The Chargers fan, you're just thinking, how are we gonna fuck this one up? And there's always it don't matter what the score is. Yeah, dude, we saw it in the guy. This gonna be a little closer in and I wake up and we lost. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-oh, Foxy's freezing. Just
but
give him a second.
it sucks. But
It does
you
suck.
know, Matthew pointed it out. We had the Giants head coach, in the seat. We
In the
had
seat.
Brandon Staley in the seat. And we chose Staley. And he's supposed to be this defensive guru because he cooked up with the Rams. And so far, outside of a handful of performances, we ain't seen it. And it's the Shaq meme. I'm not familiar with your game, and we need to get real familiar with him real quick to see if he is the one for this team or not. And based on the last couple of seasons, I don't think he is. And from what I hear against people that are more qualified to talk about head coaches than I am, I definitely don't think he is. And The third and last is Baker Mayfield. Now he's not like brushing it with insane numbers, but he looks good, and I'm
He looks
happy.
good, yeah.
I just love it for the game. I haven't gone back and look at the games and whatnot, but it's really nice to see Baker winning games, not getting crapped on in the media, and doing what he does, and just going around slinging that motherfucker and getting his team. Because when you're winning with a guy like Baker Mayfield, it's really fun to watch, and the teammates love it. It's kind of like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, great personality. Cam Newton, great personality. When you win with a guy like that, the whole team, you start hearing the announcers saying, "This team's having fun. This team
Yeah.
has so much swagger," and things like that. So it's real good. Of course, I don't think the Buccaneers are going to keep this up throughout the entire season. I think that division is probably going to get real sloppy near the end of the year and be crazy. Now, they could, anybody, any given Sunday, they can surprise us. But I just hope that I just want to enjoy it while it lasts. We don't know how long it's going to be, the Mayfield show down there, and so those are my three surprises.
All right. For me, number one is the Bengals. Um, they've played two tough games, especially week one. Joe Burrow couldn't even get over 100 yards. But, I mean, could you really call it a shocker with how we talk? Look what organization we're talking about here. We're not talking about a historic, valued organization. We're talking about the Bengals. But I still try to give them the benefit of the doubt. They had their quarterback, and they're like, we're going to invest in this O-line. We're going to protect this guy. And they did the exact damn opposite. They did not invest in that line. I don't know what's going on with the offense. The offense looks so stagnant. Joe Burrow does not look like himself. I know he has that calf injury. I know he's hurt, but there are weapons all over that team to help mask that injury, and you can find other ways. But I mean, they're like they always say, man. We know you're hurt, but if you get on that field and you put that jersey on, and that it say number 9 Burrow on the back, we expect you to play like number 9 Burrow, not Swiss cheese.
Exactly.
Okay, you can't go out there and play like Swiss cheese. Talking about some, oh no, I'm hurt. If you that hurt, go sit your ass down. Okay, because
exactly,
we don't want to hear that. You step on the field, you bring it. You bring the heat. You bring that work. Yeah, but that's number one. Number two, my Cowboys. And I don't mean this in like, oh yeah. I mean like, this is not what I expected to see.
No,
I'm gonna talk my shit real quick. I expected to win both games. I expected to beat New York. Well, both first games were in New York. Okay, I expected to beat the Giants soundly, but I didn't expect us to beat them that soundly. 40-0. And the Giants, people forget, was a playoff team last year. They made it to the second round. Yep. That's a playoff team. They gave Daniel Jones an extension. Saquon, he re-signed. That defense is supposed to be good. Brian Daboll, reigning coach of the year. I mean, the Giants were supposed to got better. And we came out here. Yeah, supposedly. And we went out there and made it look like a varsity versus freshman B team scrimmage in the spring. That's what it looked like. We ate the Giants alive. Like, they couldn't do nothing.
That's their old line. Their old line got.
So basically, for me, Dak got a bye week in week one. That was a tune-up game. The Giants was his tune-up game. Because especially when you look at his the box score for him, the Giants was just a tune-up game. Now the Jets, of course, unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Now, I said if Aaron Rodgers would have still been playing, we would have beat them, but it would have been close because they got a good defense. We got a good defense. Aaron Rodgers being there changes some things for the offense, kind of motivates the guys, make the guys around him better, hopefully. But with him being out and that MILF Hunter motherfucker Zach Wilson in there.
Oh, man.
I mean, at least Zach Wilson got you 10 points. He got you 10 points. Daniel Jones can even
Quote
do
of the
that.
year is sharp about Zach Wilson. Oh
Zach
my! Did
Wilson
you see him?
he got 10 points against possibly the top defense in the entire league. And Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley could not do that. Zach Wilson did that. Zach Wilson did
They
that.
asked
But
Shannon Sharp opened up, and he was talking about Zach Wilson's quarterback play, and he said Zach Wilson couldn't play dead in a horror movie.
Yo,
Damn.
Shannon Sharp be clowning, man. He gonna hurt that man feels. Hey, at the end of the day, Zach Wilson can always go get a MILF and be a happy man. Okay.
Hey, you can only be good at anything, you know. He's
Yeah.
young. He's a millionaire. He gets milks. You got to be bad at something.
Yeah, I mean he was the number 2 overall pick, so he got his money. He's set. Whether he lasts in the league or not, he's good. He's set. And
You know,
no homo. He's a good looking guy.
still one of the best quarterbacks in the world on a
Yeah.
talent wise. Of course, he can't hang with the top 1%, but he was talented enough to get offered to go play in college, talented enough to make it to the NFL, make a team. So,
Thank
you
you.
know, he's getting his he's facing that adversity now, but he's
Yeah.
a successful man no matter how his career plays out.
He said, and like I said, he's no homo. He's a good looking man. I mean, he'll be fine. He gonna get.
The milfs like something.
Yeah, they like something.
He got it.
I mean,
I'm guessing looks.
now, my number 3 surprise, and I like I said, I'm with you. The Chargers. Now, I know you listening, Matt. When you hear this, we tried to tell you. We tried to tell y'all about Kellen Moore. Okay, I don't give a damn that y'all putting up points X, Y, and Z. That shit gonna come back to bite y'all in the ass. And Justin Herbo gonna be looking at Kellen Moore sideways sometime down the road during the season. And your head coach, who was supposed to be apparently a defensive-minded coach, you can't stop a damn thing. You can't stop a door from closing. You can't stop a laptop from closing.
That's what.
Like,
Hiring defensive coaches. God damn.
yeah, you're supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, and yet you getting the score ran on you up and down, up and down. Now, granted, I get it. It's the NFL, probably a tough schedule, whatever. I don't hear shit. The Chargers were supposed to be a favorite because it was supposed to be Kansas City and everybody else. But in that everybody else, you had Baltimore, Cincinnati, and the Chargers were and the Bills. Those were the top teams that were supposed to give Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs a run for their money. And right now the Chargers are sitting at 0-2. More than likely going to miss the playoffs because the AFC is way too deep with good teams and good quarterbacks for them to start 0-2 and think they're just going to turn that shit around.
The sad part about the Chargers is there's always going to be that stretch that gives you hope to where everyone, because every season we get hyped up as a dark horse. So there's always that stretch that makes everyone go, see, I was right about the Chargers. They can do it. When they play like this, they can be anybody in the league. And I just know, it happens every year. And we might miss the playoffs, but we might also sneak in because sometimes that stretch is just long enough to get us in the dance. But it's just, we know, we get all that hype, and we're seen as, these Super Bowl contenders because we play the Chiefs very well. Well, that's all we do. We play them well. We don't beat them motherfuckers. We just play them well. We show up, But it's that's how it is every time. In a division like that, with the Chiefs and whatnot, in a conference with the Bills, the Dolphins, we drop one to the Dolphins. They're supposed to be the best offense in the NFL. It's really hard to argue that they're not right now. But we got to get one against the Titans. And not trying to say the Titans are a bad team. They've overachieved for the last 3-4 years. But when you have to face Kansas City twice a year, when you have to face who's the other team? Broncos play us good. I think we dropped a 1 or 2 against the Broncos last year, especially with their defense. And then, the Raiders get sneaky and hot against us. They knocked us out of a playoff hunt a year or 2 ago. So it's when you have to play those teams 6 times a year, you gotta win those games against like the Titans. I know they're good, they're not
Uh-huh.
bottom feeders, but you gotta win those games, especially when you're up for a majority of the game.
I agree. And another point that was brought up on one of the sports talk shows, and I never thought about it until he said it. When you need a big moment and a big time play, and this is my take spinning it. Justin Herbert kind of comes off kind of like Tony Romo. Think about it. Romo put up good numbers all the time,
Yeah.
up and down the field. But when you needed him most, he let you down. Now with Justin Herbert, I don't think that is he let you down. I just think he just doesn't make the play. Like he just doesn't make that play where you like, yes, he carried us to this. Justin Herbert put team on his back, carried us there. Because I mean, he has the talent. You
Oh,
got you got a you got a you got a damn good defense. You got weapons up and down on offense. At some point, the coach can only do so much. You got to go out there, and the players got to play. And Justin Herbert has been in long enough to where he don't got that signature moment.
yeah, he
Patrick
doesn't
Mahomes
yet.
is running that conference, especially
I'm
with
gonna
Brady
put
gone
that
now.
at the same time. But the sad part about the Chargers, and it's always been this way, to where even when Justin Herbert has that game, to where he's making all the plays, he's putting the team on his back,
Mm-hmm.
something always just lets us down. Last
Yeah.
week, Toto with the best offense in the league, like he scored 35, 38. I think it was 38 points and lost because the other team dropped 40. And this one, you're playing against the Tennessee Titans. They gonna run the air off that motherfucking ball,
Yep.
and they're gonna shoot a lot of shots. But he dropped 24 points. They get 27. So even though it wasn't as flashy as a performance, I haven't seen the game, so he might have had some timely sacks or maybe a pick. It's like he plays well enough to get us in the game, and sometimes he plays well enough to win us these games, but something always falls apart. The wheels fall off. He picks the car up and he scoops that. He treats it like the little toys when you push it back and then it shoots forward. He is like pushing it. He's cranking that thing back, and he's letting it go, and the car shoots him. And we zoom in. We zoom in off of his effort, and then we just need the rest of the team to get just across that finish line. And it's like something else fails, a wheel falls off, the defense doesn't come through, special teams blunder, and the car either just swerves off and explodes, and it looks
Mm-hmm.
terrible at the end of the game, or it just stops right there at the finish line. You're like, if we could just get a little bit out of somebody else, we would have had it. And that's being a Chargers fan.
Yeah. I the Chargers. I mean, hey, I'm telling y'all right now though. Eventually down the line, when Herbert is cooking, Kellen Moore
Mm-hmm.
is gonna he's gonna calm that fire down. I'm telling y'all, I'm calling it now. Justin Herbert is gonna be cooking the team, cooking them, cooking their ass, and then you're gonna get a play call and you're gonna scratch your head like, what the
The
fuck
fuck was
was that? What? Why
you're
call that play and that down and that situation in this part of the game? Why? Why? And y'all gonna just be, and then we gonna be Cowboys fans gonna be like, we tried to tell you,
we told you.
we tried to tell y'all, this is what y'all was getting, and there you go. And all right, some good NFL surprise. Now we are on to the topic you wanted to talk about. You wanted to add this in here. I thought it was a great point of discussion. When I saw the message, I started thinking about it and running it in. Deshaun Watson. Okay. Now he's had a full offseason. Okay. He's
Yeah.
away from his, I have to say, allegations of his happy ending times, apparently, allegedly. Okay. With all these different ladies. Now he is full fledged team leader, franchise quarterback, Cleveland Browns. Foxboy, the floor is yours. Give us your spiel on Deshaun Watson.
Somebody is going to make a video called like the character or career assassination of Deshaun Watson, and it might get 1 million views because like the public perception of him went from he is God tier, great, outstanding citizen, would any team in the league will be happy to have him as their quarterback, to the scum of the earth seemingly overnight. But my thing is, your opinions about Deshaun Watson aside, you shouldn't let your conversations about these players and whatnot start to feel politicky. And it gets really
Yeah.
annoying when you're trying to watch a video, trying to watch highlights, you're trying to watch a football game, and it seems like somebody's trying to get their own personal opinions out rather than just talking about the game. Like, just keep it to the game. There was an announcer in the preseason that went viral because Deshaun Watson's trotting on the field, and the first thing he brings up is the allegations. And given Deshaun Watson's allegations, nobody's going to come to his defense whatsoever. And even if you do come to his defense, just defending him as a player, saying, like, it's a pocket for you to bring that up right now, people look at you as if you condone that kind of behavior or even participate or support it. And it's like, no, when I turn the fucking television on and it says Browns versus any other team, I want to hear football. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm saying I don't give a fuck about you, but I don't want to hear your politics about what happened off the field. When Jordan Davis makes Jalen Carter. When Jalen Carter gets a sack, makes a play, I don't want to hear about the car accident. I don't. I want to hear about him, how far he's came as a player. Has he been doing this all season? What are his stats? How does the locker room feel about him? I want to hear that. I don't want to hear, Jalen Carter on the tackle, he was involved in the crash that resulted in the death of X, Y, and Z. When Deshaun Watson throws a touchdown, I don't want to hear Deshaun Watson runs it in. It's only his second touchdown of the season. He had those allegations in the offseason. And it's like, tangent real quick. It's funny and it's terrible because they're doing this and they're beating up on Deshaun Watson. But Ben Roethlisberger had allegations. But when Ben Roethlisberger was playing, I didn't even know until he retired that he had those allegations, because when Ben Roethlisberger was on the field, they kept it to football. They didn't talk about that shit. Even with somebody who did something as heinous as Aaron Hernandez. In the Patriots documentaries, when they talk about Aaron Hernandez, they keep it to football. Richard Sherman, he had a situation in the offseason or two between him and his family or something. He was a little intoxicated, but he is on the show with Skip Bayless right now. And even when he was still playing, they kept it to football. They keep it that way. So why can we not do that with Deshaun Watson? So they have the tweet. I sent it to you. Hopefully it can be on screen. I could pull it up and read it, but I'm lazy. But verified Twitter user, he puts out all the NFL news, not Adam Schefter, but on the same tier. And he puts up, we need to talk about Deshaun Watson's contract. He's not playing well at all, was his quote. And he puts out some stats. He goes in like Deshaun Watson had a passing touchdown, an interception. He's completed X amount of passes in this game. And then last night he had X amount of passes. He had passes, touchdown, an interception. And he's like, not to mention, he has fumbled the ball, which led to the touchdown that ended up losing the game for the Browns. And, when you point out that, when you say like he's getting paid the most money in the NFL, yes, I get that. And he was a very high draft pick. He's supposed to be a top 5 quarterback. If you're saying he's not meeting expectations, that is fine. But to come out and saying he's not playing well at all is completely it feels politicky. It feels like you're just changing the narrative to try to get the band, like all those people who hate him for what happened off the field. It feels like you're making this tweet not to objectively point out some stats to say he's not living up to expectations, but to try to get all those people on the bandwagon so you can get likes and retweets for all the people who are against what he did and whatnot. Well, if you actually watch the fucking game, when he fumbled, it was on a 4th and 1. He's going to reach for the first down, and the ball gets punched out of his hands and eventually rolls under his body, and somebody grabs it from under him, and they initially gave them the first down, but after further review, they reversed it, gave it to the defense. It happens. We've seen a lot of that happen where somebody's trying to reach for a first down and fumbles, having the fucking Justin Jefferson reach for the touchdown, goes out the back of the end zone, it's a touchback. His second fumble, he does a play action pass. His tackle gets completely worked, so he does the play action. As soon as he turns around, he feels the pressure. He steps up and tries to, move the ball away from somebody else coming from this way. Pass rusher comes, punches the ball out of his hands. It happens to anybody. And it's like, if you're going to point out those things, be objective about it. give it the context. And I know I'm kind of naive for asking for context on fucking Twitter, but he also put out the goddamn. He wants to point out the fumbles. Well, how about point out the passes that were dropped? Point out the passes where the receiver caught it, but he didn't drag his foot to keep it in bounds, because there was a couple of drops in those last night. Some of his best throws and best plays were dropped. There was a I can't remember. I can't remember this near the goal line. There's a play where the rushers come out, and they were coming out of the all night. We lose the rush, gets out the pocket, throws a dart to, I believe it was the running back, hits him right in the hands. And there was another one for a first down on one of the drives when they were like coming back. First play on the drive where they went 3 and out. He throws a dart, and this really pissed me off with the announcers. Deshaun Watson delivers a dart, and it is a little behind, but when they see those passes that are slightly behind, for other quarterbacks, they say, oh, he's trying to sit him down so he doesn't get hit. He's trying to put him on him because there's a hole in the zone, and I need you to sit in that spot in the zone so you don't run into another defender. But when Deshaun Watson throws it a little behind, it hits the guy in the hands, literally on his breastplate, in his hand. And he drops it, and they go, that's a bad throw by Deshaun Watson. You can't throw it behind him. And it's like, come the fuck on, man. Speak objectively. And it's like we saw this same shit with Lamar Jackson on something as simple as a goddamn flat route. When you throw a damn flat route, you throw your running back up the field, because you and me know this from football. If you throw that ball like this and it goes behind that running back, it doesn't go forward, that is a fumble. So you lead them upfield so they not only get momentum, but they catch it in momentum to get upfield quicker. But you know what I'm saying? It's not a goddamn fumble if the ball hits the turf. But Lamar Jackson throws that motherfucker, the running back doesn't fade upfield, and it goes out of bounds. Wow, man, Lamar got to get this accuracy up. You got to hit that flat route. No, the running back needs to run its fucking route correctly. So it's like, I really hate when they turn this shit politicky. If you're going to talk about the game, talk about the game objectively. Don't get your personal opinions and politics in it. And it's like, y'all would have felt horrible if when Cole fucking Beasley didn't want to get vaccinated, if we were out here chopping up his plays and making him look like he's the most dog shit receiver in football, all because he didn't want to take a fucking shot. I thought he should have taken the fucking shot, but I wasn't going to go to the point to where I'm calling him out and trying to make him look bad over a goddamn shot. And it's bad to relate vaccination to the allegations that Deshaun Watson had. But the whole point of this rant is, when it comes to NFL season football, and we're talking on the field, the clock is running and the game is going, keep it to the game. If you are off camera and you want to talk to your colleagues about how much you disagree with what happened, you should have got paid that much money given he missed all the football, that's fine. You want to go on your personal account on Twitter and talk about that stuff? That's fine. But speak your responsibility. When you're getting in front of an audience of 10,000 people or more, you have a responsibility to not, put bullshit out in the air and invoke your audience to, spread misinformation, spread fallacies. That really gets on my nerves. Stop.
Speak yo truth, my man. Unfortunately, with it being 2023, everything is going to be political. Everything. But I agree with you. When it comes to Deshaun Watson, let's talk about him in the football aspect. So, just for that, I'm going to keep it in the football aspect. Now, I was, and I still am, wondering why the Browns gave him a fully guaranteed contract. Now, I'm not going to hate on him for getting his money. And I'm not going to sit up here and act like Deshaun Watson was not that dude on that sorry-ass Houston Texans team before everything happened. But a fully guaranteed contract to a guy who pretty much hasn't won anything screams desperation by Cleveland. But it's Cleveland. What can we expect? Now, with that being said, and I brought up this point when I saw that thing, when you put in the message, who is he throwing to? He has Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is up and over the damn hill. Don't give me Amari damn Cooper. Now, and who was suspect while he was at Michigan. So don't even sit up here and act like Donovan Peoples-Jones is that dude. Hell, I would take T. Higgins every day, all day over Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like, come on. Donovan Peoples-Jones on a good team is probably the 5th or 6th guy on the depth chart. Or he's on special teams. I'm just calling it like I see. No disrespect. The dude's clearly a great talent. He's in the NFL. He's playing professional football. He's catching passes out there. And I'm sitting here talking about shit on YouTube with the homie. Clearly, okay, not saying the man can't play. But let's just call it what it is in terms of NFL talent. Donovan Peoples-Jones is not that dude. Amari Cooper has not been that dude since his first year in Dallas. And as a former, not former, as Amari Cooper, as he is a former Cowboys player, us Cowboys fans can attest to this. We know when Amari Cooper plays on the road, he don't show up. He keeps his talent at home. Now for a home game, he'll show up, but for some reason when he goes on the road, his ass is not ready to play. He's distracted. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's like Brock Lesnar. He just hates traveling. I don't know. But when it comes to that, he does not show up. But Deshaun Watson, they need to get him some help. He can't do it all in Cleveland. He cannot do it all. You got to give him somebody to throw. You got to get him a tight end. And now you just lost your running back whose leg snapped on. And plus, my thing is, how much of that guaranteed money is on the cap? It's all guaranteed. How much is? I mean, I'm not. I don't. I mean, I'm not a accountant, and I hated accounting in school. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't think his. I don't think his fully guaranteed contract is that much of a hindrance on team. But then again, I don't know. But at the same time, that's not his problem. Y'all gave him a fully guaranteed contract. So that's up to y'all to work that wizardry in the cap and still get him some talent while paying him a fully guaranteed contract. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, we got. Yeah. Yes. We're on our last topic. Okay, this one shouldn't be too quick. Early overreactions. I'll give mine real quick. Overreaction. The Kansas City Chiefs won't make the playoffs. That's an overreaction for sure, especially after week 1. Another overreaction. I said this before we started the video. The Buccaneers will run roughshod in the NFC. And my last overreaction, Zach Wilson will turn around the New York Jets. I said it. God damn it, I said it. Bet. The second one was, what did I? Damn, I forgot what I said already. I forgot what I said already.
We was listening. There was Buccaneers. It was Buccaneers.
Yes. The Buccaneers were. That's an overreaction. The Buccaneers will run roughshod over the NFC. Yes.
I think. Let's see who's in the NFC South. It's Falcons,
Saints. Panthers, Saints, and Panthers. Yep. That is the NFC South.
I think Saints and Bucks. Those are good. Those are my two right now. And it just depends on how Baker Mayfield is going to keep looking. Because right now he's looking pretty good. But I think, right now if you put your money on the Bucks or the Saints, I don't blame you. But I think it's going to get real ugly. Like everybody's saying, it's probably going to be a 8-9 division winner, I forgot the math on that. It used to be 9-7, so it'd be 9-8, right? So, a 9-8 division winner getting the playoffs. I think the Bucks are going to be top 2 in that division, no question. Which, sadly, unless they win the division and get a playoff win, that means Baker is gone next year, which is going to be sad for me as a Baker fan. But I'll take that. You're not feeling too bad about that as a Buccaneers fan. post on Brady. And then the last one, Zach Wilson. I believed it for all of like 12 seconds because I was watching a different game and I saw the 70-yard touchdown. I was like, Zach Wilson hit a motherfucker for 70 yards? Okay, Jets might have hope. And then I saw the final score. And I was like, God damn.
Here's what I'll say real quick about Zach Wilson before we go. The Jets should do to Zach Wilson what, for some reason, happens to Jordan Poole in the NBA and Golden State. Just put a bunch of MILF baddies in his vicinity and in his range of view. And I guarantee you Zach Wilson will turn his game around real quick. Just, man, real quick. But, man, yeah, that was episode 1. I'm going to go back and... Yeah, it's the best way. I hope to God... Now, I was scrolling through Twitter a lot, so I hope to God I didn't turn off no audio or anything. But if I did, I'm going to fix that. Don't even worry about it. You know I got you, Foxy. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Fox Boys links to his YouTube will be down in the description as well. Y'all be sure to go hit my man up, man. A lot of my success is due to Foxy. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to give him the credit. But we're going to go and get up out of here. Y'all be safe. We're going to catch y'all next time, man. Peace!